So let's talk about haltering manners and unhaltering manners. A horse should always stand still, and no matter what their excitement is about, as far as you taking their halter off, like if they're excited about going and running with their buddies out into the pasture, as soon as that halter comes off, or they're excited about getting to their grain bucket as soon as their halter comes off. No matter what their excitement is, they need to understand until you release them, their halter is what promotes calm, right? So I always take the halter, I undo the cheek piece, and then I put my arm underneath the throat latch of the horse and pull it from, so this arm, so the horse is right here, and I take the opposite ear off. So I take them both off the ears, I drop it down to their nose, and then I create a new nose band. So the crown piece of the halter is now on their nose. See, he's anxious. He's like, oh, let me have that food. So instead, I'm going to take this down and drop it on his nose. Wait till he stops kind of being bouncy. And then I'll turn him loose for his grain. Sometimes I just hold it like this. Sometimes I put it in one hand and make a whole new nose band where I have it clenched. I do that for horses that think about backing up, because a horse could still back up and get out of it. So I'll clench it for a horse that might think about backing up to get out of the halter. The baby's food bucket is behind me, but I want her to let me take her halter off and not like try to dive around me and go get her food. So what I'll do is I'll take the cheek piece off, right, with a snap, and then I'm going to take my hand on this side of her face and my hand on this side of her face, and I'm going to remove the halter, but I'm going to put it down over her nose. And this is helping her learn about patience. And then I'll turn her loose when she concedes. So when they give a moment of understanding, like, I understand I have to just stand here until you let me loose, I'm not going to wrestle with you about it, that's when I let them loose. She's silly. She's going to make a mess. Sure. Good halter manners in all those cases is really important. One, if you're turning them loose and they want to go see their buddies, chances are there's going to be a celebration. And that celebration is going to result in possibly a kick up in the air. Could be at you, it could be just in the general vicinity of you, and you get caught up in it. Getting kicked because a horse was excited and ripped out of his halter is a sorry way to get kicked. Because it is by accident for the most part. Horses that are excited about coming in for their grain and trying to rip their head out of the halter or back up out of the halter or whatever, those horses have an energy that kind of says, I'm going to go dive into my food. Things to consider there. One, good manners, obviously. Two, a horse that dives into their food could potentially dive into their food getting a much larger bite than they normally would eat. Usually that horse is also very animated still, so like worrying about where their buddies are, their buddies haven't come in yet, so they grab that mouth of food and they put their head to the stall door or over the stall door, whatever your situation is, and they're chewing and spilling grain everywhere. So now you could potentially be dealing with, a rodent problem because your horse is just flinging his feed everywhere. He's also not getting all his feed because he's throwing it out the door. But most importantly is choke. Horses that grab a big mouthful and are having kind of an anxiety attack or having kind of a high energy experience, being allowed to get into their grain like that, in that frame of mind, is really risking choke. And I'm going to do a whole video on choke, but definitely don't want to know I could have prevented, or at least helped prevent that, by just asking my horse to calmly wait for his halter to be removed and get him in that frame of mind that says just go and have a casual meal, as opposed to go eat like you haven't eaten in a year. Okay, so that's kind of my reason for the way I do my halters in the mornings, is to kind of calm my horses down and also to remind them that respect when being unhaltered lasts all the way until I've left the room. You know, like it's not when I go to take it off your ear and you yank your head back and try to help me get your halter off. I'm not interested in my horses helping me get their halters off. Okay, so have a great day. Bye.